Hello, everyone. I'm Svetlana, and today we are meeting with Iride, who has kindly agreed to share her story publicly for the first time in 5 years. And it's with us, and it's because of dry fasting, not only because of her journey of healing. It's very, very, very precious for me. Hi, Iride.
Hello. I never did that kind of interview in my last 5 years. To be honest with you, I had a couple of people ask me to do this, and the first time I'm doing this. And the reason why I never did this because I haven't healed myself 100%. And I thought, maybe it's not time to speak, but maybe that's the right time to speak, especially when it's about dry fasting retreat.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate. And it's very sensitive topic to share the journey because you're not still healed. And the journey is always a little bit sacred matter, right? Sometimes you don't want to speak out before it has become the completed mission. I totally understand you, totally.
Because it's still, even 5 years already, I'm still having up and downs. It's like a good days and bad days, and but we can talk about this.
Yeah, some people do not want to talk until it's done, but the life is a journey. Life is about process, and some people really need to hear even the journey because it's also very important to have hope. We all don't know what will happen by the end, right? We hope for the best always, but we cannot stop sharing the journey. Journey of healing, it's very delicate matter, and we will try to address the questions that people want to understand. And we're recording this video on February 2026, and we're expecting Iride again on our retreat in 1 month in Montenegro in March 2026. Another important point, and my request to you, Iride, I will try myself as well, it's to try to rename your problem, not to pronounce the word starting with C and ending with R, and to change it to oncological problem, oncological issue, because YouTube, it's constantly banning this type of videos. So I know that naturally it will be coming out, but let's be aware of what's going on and let's change the terminology.
Okay.
So happy to see you shining in a beautiful place with a beautiful energy. And please start sharing your story, what has happened and when, and what recommendation did you receive from Western doctors?
Yeah, my story started a long time ago, and even before I was diagnosed. I think it's about 2011. I started to feel very tired, and mostly in the afternoons. I had absolutely zero energy, and then I always needed to go and get my nap. And I thought, my God, I'm still in my 30s. How is that possible that I'm so tired? And I started to research all the best supplements, all the best diets as possible, and it's never helped. But even I knew already I have some kind of problem. I never wanted to go to doctors and to get any confirmation because I just was believe it as can be happen, but not to me. For anyone else, but not to me. I thought, no, I just need to do more yoga, more running, more something. But I will avoid medical help. So at that time, I was studying in London at university, and I was going through a lot of stress. This, I think, didn't help as well. After my university, I created a very, very stressful business in Scottish Highlands, hotel, bar, restaurant, which was not the plan when I was studying what I will do, but that's what's happened in my life that maybe I just needed to go this kind of part. And I started to create more stress for myself, and I started to feel bigger symptoms in my body that something is not right, like really not right. I went once to emergency in one of the Highlands hospital, And I got absolutely no help, no explanation apart saying, oh, you're already in your late 30s, this premenopause will get worse.
How old you were that you were told that you're in premenopause?
Late 30s. So in my late 30s. And then I went, and maybe 6 months later, I just had even less of energy and more problems with my health. I went to the other hospital and they haven't checked me as well. They said, just follow your diet. This must be premenopause and that's happening. So I thought, okay, so I need to look after my diet. I need to do this and this. But I had no clue about diets, about how to look after myself properly, because everywhere else it was just about high proteins, lots of running, lots of sports, and taking lots of supplements, and just find a way how to survive. So that's how I was surviving for a couple of years. And then in 2020, and I think what's happened, because I was running very, very, very stressful business, and I created other business, and on top with this business, my body couldn't handle anymore. I went for a run one morning, and it was 2020, October, and I just collapsed. And I was so in pain. All my body was just in pain. I didn't know what's happening. So my husband took me to emergency, and without checking, they started to treat me for infection, for some urine infection, without even checking me. 3 days later, I'm in emergency again. They treated me for something else. Three days later, I'm in emergency again because I couldn't even walk from the pain. It was all my abdomen just in pain. And then they decided to do the CT scan. And I remember the nurse, she came in after the CT scan, she closed the curtains, and she said, I'm really sorry. I really, really don't want to say that, but you're too young. You have really, really too massive cyst on your ovaries. And I really don't know how this to say to you. I just said, just say it. And she used the word, what we don't want to use today. And she said, but to confirm everything, we really need to speak with oncologists, make more tests and everything else. And I thought, maybe they're wrong. You always kind of, when you're hearing something like this, you're thinking, it's could be a mistake, because they can just, after one scan, decide what's happened to you. But then later on, like more tests, more results, more bloods, more everything, they confirmed this as stage 3. And I need the surgery, I need chemotherapy, which also they said at the same time, but the chemo will not help for this kind of illness. This needs to be surgery first, and then we'll see what kind of I don't know, experiments they can do on me, But then it's interesting, when I was lying in the hospital bed and waiting for my results, I stopped eating. I never fasted before, but I stopped eating. They started to bring me some hospital food, and of course, hospital food, especially, I don't know how everywhere else in Europe, but in UK is horrible, like a pizza, like some potatoes with beans, and some lasagna or something else. Everything is microwave. And they said, you need to eat. I said, no, I don't want to eat anything. So I just automatically stopped eating. And then the final results was stage 3, everything else, what they wanted me to do, like the surgery and everything else, what they told me I need to do. I just said, I found my husband. I said, you really need to take me from the hospital, because I just can't be here anymore, because I just need to rethink everything. So I went home. They booked me for a surgery, and I went through all the checks that just in case I will decide to go for surgery. And I was thinking, okay, what's next? There's a first thing, what I started to do, making fresh juices at home, enemas, which I never heard before about enemas, but I thought I will do everything what is possible to see how I can help my body till biopsy, because they told me I need to do the biopsy. So, and biopsy was in about, I think, when I all started the juice fasting and enemas and everything is about 3 weeks or something. And it's interesting, when they did a biopsy, half of the thing what it was in scan, the biopsy didn't show anymore. So they showed a stage 3, a little bit metastasis, but where they thought the metastasis before, it was clear. I thought, it's working. I'm just cleaning myself out. This means that maybe CT scan showed something, what they thought is metastasis, but it was not metastasis, something else they saw. I thought, it's working. And so what I did, at that time, I had a house in the Scottish Highlands in the mountains. And because I had lots of different opinions from family, from friends, you need to go and do the surgery, you need to do this, and you need to do that. And I thought, seriously, all this noise, I need to stop. I need to do something about it. So I just packed my dog, my things, what I needed, and I just went to Scottish Highlands, looked up myself.
What kind of surgery they were suggesting you?
To remove all ovaries, and they even told us if it's cancer somewhere else to remove something else. They just told me about it will be 5-6 hour surgery, just removing everything, and just in case,
There are other types of dealing with tumors, like ablation, like burning out if the tumor is quite small, and gamma knife. Did they propose it to you?
No, because the tumors was quite big. It was, I think what I remember was 17 centimeters, and it was 16 centimeters. It was quite big because I was asking if they can remove just tumors and not touch anything else, but they said they can't. If they told me they can do it, I think I will just want it to go natural way, just to see if I can, first of all, just to see if I can do it myself.
So because the tumor was malignant and there are small metastases around, right? Yet in pelvis.
Yes, that's correct. And the metastasis was on omentum, which they said they need to remove part of omentum as well, whatever that meant. To be honest with you, when they were saying they needed to remove, it's kind of everything blocked in my mind because I was seeing myself after the surgery walking like not me anymore, not like with my body, And I thought, no, that's cannot be happening to me. So I just really need to try something else. So that's how I went to Scottish Highlands, and I emailed to a Gerson's hospital in Mexico, and I wanted to see if they can take me to the Gerson's hospital to Mexico. I even had no money for that because I think this was at that time $10,000 per month or something. But I thought anyway, so if that's meant for me, I will do it, But what they said when I sent it to them, hospital, all scan results and biopsy results, and they said, no, you cannot come to us. First, you need to do the surgery, then you come to us. And I thought, excuse me. So if I will do the surgery, why do you need you? And why do you want you to pay $10,000 a month? So, but they absolutely say they're not taking me there. I say, okay then. And then the other hospital was Buckingham Clinic in Switzerland. I emailed them as well. They said exactly the same.
Why? How did they explain that? Why they did not take you?
Because they said they can't help me if I will not remove tumors. So it's nothing will help.
And what treatments they offer?
In the Gerson's clinic, they offering like enemas, IVC, and lots of juicing. So, but at that time, when I wanted the help, I didn't know anything about it. Like, seriously, I've been in a couple of juicing retreats before COVID, but when you're on the retreat, it's everything prepared for you, everything, balanced. And when you're at home, and if you never done this before, you don't know how to do it yourself, is it?
And what they were promising if you would come after the surgery, what results would you obtain if you come? Why you should come to them?
That they will help me, they will teach me to be cancer free, because what they offered in Gerson's clinic in Mexico, you come as a couple for the same price. I can bring my husband, they will teach my husband as well how to do everything at home. But Buckingham Clinic in Switzerland, they're not allowed to come couples. You need to come yourself, but it's more like more different because they give you one green juice in the morning, you're drinking herbal tea all day, and you're getting vegetable bouillon in the evening. That's what you're getting in that clinic. But to be honest with you, I was so desperate that I just was kind of contacting everyone just to see, if I can get some kind of help. But then when they told me they will not take me in because I don't have a surgery, I thought, no, you must be joking. If I'm having a surgery, I'm definitely don't need you anymore, and I will not pay that kind of money.
Did they explain why they don't take? What kind of risks were they running if they would take you with these tumors?
They didn't explain. They just said that they cannot take a patient without the surgery. That's all. I have everything in writing. There was everything explained in the emails, and sometimes I'm just opening those emails again and reading and trying to understand, because they kind of advertising themselves as alternative healing clinics.
For them, it was just a general reset of the body after you have done the surgery, after you have removed the half of your organs. It was general health for the future, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that means you will stay cancer free. You thought, okay. It's like those days, a lot of people on Instagram, especially what I'm following, they saying they cancer free, they did this and that, they offering all the coaching and everything. But then when you're reading the stories, they all went through surgeries, and they saying they healed naturally. Everything is, for me, I'm healing naturally because since 2020, October 20, I never even had no painkiller. I never even had a pain, to be honest with you, since I'm on this journey myself. So let's go back to Highlands, what's happened. When all those clinics told me they're not taking me in, what I done, I ordered Gerson's books. And I studied the books, what they're doing in the clinic, and how they're doing, and I'm improvised everything at home. Obviously, I didn't have IVC, I didn't have other supplements, and which now I understand, there was no need for me. But I everything improvised and start to do everything what it was by the book myself, like put my body through very, very deep detox. So I did by the Gerson's book, I did November, December, and I went to check my bloods, CA125, ovarian blood levels, and the bloods. The first time when I checked, there was 135 and dropped to 74, and it's normal 35. And I thought, wow, something is working. And then in January, I did fully raw challenge, like vegan fully raw for 21 days with fully raw Christina, and I felt amazing. I just started to feel better and better and better every day. And all my tiredness, what I had for so many years, is gone. I didn't need a nap during the day. Of course, first 3 months, like October, November, December, I had a lot of bad symptoms with my body, when your body you're putting through detox. My husband was very scared because he saw me in good days and bad days, and but I thought, no, I'm keep going, it's like there's something is cleaning from my body, there's something is happening, will get better. And then about, we'll say end of January, I just felt this flow of energy. It's like, oh my god, there was just beyond energy I ever experienced in my life. So I thought, okay, that's just working. And then at that time, I followed one girl who was healing her illness for second time. The first time she went through surgery and the illness returned. She's in Australia, and she was doing the water fasting. And she did 21-day water fasting. And then she announced that she's completely cleared her illness. And this is confirmed by her oncologist. I was crying from the tears. I thought, oh my God, that's working, that's working. But I didn't know how to do fasting. I was not brave enough even to do water fasting at home. So then I then I found again, emailed again Gerson Clinic, because they was talking about water fasting support online. And I told them everything what I'm doing. Like I followed them by the book protocols and everything. And I said, can you coach me on water fasting? And I got the email saying no. will not coach you. You know everything yourself how to do. I was ready to pay the money online to get, but because there was, I don't know, I just saw some kind of anger or something, because they said, no, you're doing everything yourself. You know how to do, just do your water fasting yourself.
They were pushing you unconsciously towards dry fasting, but you still did not know about that.
Yeah. Oh, no, I didn't. And then when Monique, the girl, Monique, she's announced that she's don't have that illness anymore. She don't need surgery. It's everything cleared in 21 days. Of course, she did very long preparation before then and exit from the fasting. I thought, okay, so I will contact her to see who's her coach. I contact Monique, ask for a coach. That's how first time I met my online fasting coach. And I just spoke with him, and I was mentally, physically ready to do my first fasting. And that's when I thought I will be doing dry fasting, because I never heard before about dry fasting, but he said to me, let's experience dry fasting with you because this is much faster healing than water fasting. I said, okay, that's interesting. I remember was a little bit, I found my mom, because my mom she used to fast a lot in the past. And she said, oh my God, this is most powerful healing tool in the world.
Chronologically, when it happened that you learned about dry fasting and you started to deal with this online coach?
When is that? Oh, this is happened in January, March, 2021, March. It was 2021 in March. And yeah, and when I spoke to my mom, she confirmed that's it's really, really powerful fasting. I thought, okay, so I will do it. But how I realize now that fasting was not dry fasting, because now I know what is dry fasting. Because how I was guided, I was one day eating mono fruit only, one day dry fasting. But dry fasting, I was allowed to do water enemas and to take showers, just not to touch, you know, water to my face. And I did like one day, 2 days, 2 days, 3 days, till I reached 5 days, you know. I tell you, and I went through hell. I went through hell. There was days when I couldn't see anything. There was black in my eyes. But because I was doing, now I understand I wasn't doing right, because more I was taking showers, more doing enemas. So I was more torturing my body. And seriously, it was so bad. I have pictures. I lost a lot of weight. One thing I will tell you, I'm not afraid to lose the weight if that's for health. You know, that's just not bothering me at all. So I can lose as much weight as needs to be lost for fasting, because I'm gaining very quick weight. So after fasting, I can 3-5 days and my weight is back. So, but yeah, so the first time I thought I'm doing dry fasting. But talking about all the fasting and everything has really helped me, because after I finished this fasting and refeeding myself with the fruits, actually I became fruitarian. I was for about a year fruitarian. And then the first time I went for my CT scan in France, and they confirmed there was no metastasis. There was no metastasis, and tumors cyst was half size what was before.
It helped somehow. Let's not underrate everyone's work. It helped somehow. But I wanted to underline that dry fasting, why it's dry? There is no contact with liquids, not orally, not through skin, not through backside, no contact with water. Because if you have a contact with liquids, actually you can call it wet fasting, because while water fasting, it's flushing out your toxins with enemas during water fasting. With wet fasting, you do not consume water. So with enemas, actually, all the toxins are being absorbed by the body with enemas. So everyone who is calling so-called soft dry fasting has to understand that they are not doing dry fasting, because dry fasting, the mechanism of it's burning from inside all the toxins and all these damaged cells. While if you are inserting enemas, all these toxins are not being burned anymore, they're being absorbed by your body. because you are not flushing them away with water fasting. Was I clear in explanation? Like in a short way?
Absolutely. That's why I'm trying to see that everything for 5 years, I'm going from experience to experience to experience. It's like, I will tell you later on about my long water fasting, which was a big thing as well. So yeah, it's whatever I was doing, it was working for me, because all this fully raw reset, all the detox for my body, all this fasting, what I done is worked, because there was no metastasis left, and tumors was half size. It's really worked. I emailed all the results to my UK oncologist, and you know what he said to me? He said, what do you think was happened with your metastasis? You didn't take any treatments. Of course, it's not gone anyway. It's hiding behind some organs where a CT scan cannot see it. You know? I thought,
What should they say to you?
I said, I can't deal with this man anymore. Like, seriously. It's just like, I can't deal with him anymore. Anyway, I thought, I don't need those CT scans very often. At that time, I never understood how badly is for my healing is getting very often CT scans. At one point, I was having every 3 months CT scan, cleaning my body and then CT scan, cleaning my body and CT scan. So I was just absolutely was cleaning my body and poisoning my body. Now I do understand that, but yeah, 5 years ago that was different. So yeah, and what happened next? And then yeah, I become fruitarian for a year, and I'm actually very happy, high of energy, running all skinny and everything. And then one day I thought, wait a second, something is missing in my body, because the healing stopped. It doesn't matter what I'm doing anymore. The healing stopped. It's not moving forward anymore. If something is not right, I need to find how to move everything forward, because it's a good thing. It's not going backwards, but it's not going forward as well. It's just stuck. So I started to research other kind of diets, other kind of detox methods and everything. And then the one day when I don't know, I was looking online for the book, and I found the book about dry fasting, which was about doctors Filonov retreat in Siberia. And I read that book and I thought, okay, I need to go back to what I was doing 5 years ago. And maybe that's what is really gave me the best results. I need to try it again. But like I said, now since I came to the retreats and did all the preparation and everything at home, now I understand what is real dry fasting is, and through what kind of experience you're getting when you're dry fasting, and all the preparation and all the exit, and all even I'm talking about, when we dry fasting. So yeah, that's how I decided to go and research like, I would say proper dry fasting.
Let us come back a little bit to your story. So I wanted to summarize it. For 9 years, you were having issues and you did not realize you were having oncological actually issues, because 70% of cases usually of oncological problems with Ovarian are diagnosed at stage 3, like you were diagnosed.
Yeah.
And usually the survival rate I was checking, it was stated like within 5 years between 20 to 50% of survival rate. And if you find at stage 1, 95% of survival rate. This is very important to understand, that whenever you have symptoms, pains, triggers, you have to think about digging deep, like immediately, not to have a prolonged story of a journey of unknown, because you were going through unknown for 9 years actually, believing that you can deal by yourself, finding the solution, but you were not diagnosed, because most probably if you would be diagnosed like 1 year, 2 years after you have started to have problems, all the journey would change completely. So 9 years before discovering your diagnosis, it's a quite huge amount of time.
It is, but also I think this happened for me for a reason, because I think if I was diagnosed 9 years ago, maybe I would be went through surgery, maybe I went through chemotherapy and everything. You know why? Because I was in really, really busy, stressful businesses, which I needed to be there 100%. And
Mm.
because of COVID, everything is stopped. Because 2020, there was already COVID time.
Have you been having injections? Let us call things with a different terminology.
I did.
How many? Two. Because besides COVID that triggered the weak links of our genetics and body, what we are noticing with all the clients, also shots. I think that they even worsen the situation, not only revealed because COVID is revealing that, but they worsened. Yeah. So yeah, this is also important to realize, because a lot of patients that are coming with oncological problems, they are coming with them after shots as well.
So what's happened as well, I had those shots in a very silly way, because in first year, when the metastasis gone, the cyst become half size and everything, I thought with fasting I can do anything, and I went for the shots just because I was not allowed to go to yoga studios. And then I got the shots because I wanted to go to yoga studios in Cannes. There we go. So, and after the shots, I felt worse. I felt on myself worse, yeah. But thought, no, I would just do a couple week fasting, and I will deal with the shots.
Okay, we discovered in your healing journey also these interesting revelations. Another questions that I wanted to ask you. Do you have a family history of breast or ovarian oncological issues?
I don't.
You don't have children, right?
No, I don't have children. No, that's one of the reasons I don't have children, because I was trying to get pregnant just before I was diagnosed for a couple of years. I was thinking about IVF because I wasn't sure what's the problem. But even then, when I was trying to get pregnant, no one realized what is the problem with me. No one diagnosed, which, yeah, I just think I was not checked properly. That's what I will say.
So you had gynecological issues that usually also leading to major problems. And what gynecological problems they said you had?
They didn't say anything because they checked only my bloods for the hormonal levels. They didn't check me properly, and they said, "Well, we can try IVF." That's one of the thinkings, but my husband said, "No, we will not do this kind of stuff." And I thought maybe we will think about it, but at that point, like I said, I was fully busy with my businesses and everything. It was kind of like, "Oh, maybe we'll do one day. Maybe we will do one day," and then, yeah. I think it's one of the reasons was I was never, doesn't matter how many times I went for even pregnancy or even for my pains and everything else, they never checked me properly. I was just not checked.
Were you able to conceive, or you even were not able to conceive? So you did have miscarriages as well, right?
One miscarriage, but I was in my late 20s, so it's a long time ago.
So even at that point, you started already having problems even without knowing that.
Yes, that's correct. Yes. Yeah, because as ovarian problems didn't, even stage 3 is not happening over 3-4 years. It's, what I'm realizing, there was something. I will guess, if I will guess, I was about 27, I think, when I started to get oncology problems. So, yeah.
I'm asking all these questions just to make sure people who are listening, especially young women, young ladies or their parents, to be very attentive to all the symptoms. Because in a cumulative puzzle, further on, it can really lead to very important severe issues. And no symptoms have to be underseen. Of course, people do not have also panic. No, not to exaggerate, but still be aware, be conscious, and check. Even though there are no tests, right, to identify this type of oncological problem on the early stages.
It is. Blood test, CA125.
Blood test, not biopsy necessarily.
Blood test. You don't need any biopsy. If I will go back now, I will not do biopsy because biopsy even making worse. But the blood test, why they not offering for you if you even, having problems what I have, why they not saying, let's check your CA125, which shows ovarian problems.
Even on the first stage.
Yes, because normal is 35. Anything above 35 is already shows the ovarian problem. So yeah, it is just a blood test, a simple blood test. So yeah, my sister, she had, after I was diagnosed a couple years later, she had a lot of problems with her hormonal balance and everything. And first thing what she's done, she just went privately and then CA125 blood test just to make sure she don't have anything. Thanks God she's clear, but you need to think about this. If his doctor's not thinking for you, you need to think yourself because these days it's so a lot of information online. You just need to choose the right one.
Yeah, we are not lacking information. The problem, there is too much.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, that's right.
About online coaching. So you found the book of, it was Dr. Filonov and Michelle Slater book speaking about Michelle Slater.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So did you think to visit Dr. Filonov for the retreat? How it was evolving, all this situation?
When I read the book, I straight away sent the book to my sister. My sister read the book in one day. Then I straight away sent to my husband because I was in France. My husband was in London. He read the book and everyone said, do it. And I said, of course I will do it. And just because of everything what's happening in the world, you cannot go to his retreat in Siberia. But then I realized, yes, in Montenegro. So yeah, I made online appointment. We spoke about it. We spoke with you as well. And actually, I didn't book straight away. So I did 2 dry fastings in Highlands myself before the retreat.
But you were telling me that the online coach was discrediting and was saying to you not to come.
It's one of my online coaches. Oh, yeah. One of my online coaches is, I think he's been in this retreat, and he said it's not the way how he understands supposed to be this retreat. It's not the way how his refeeding is happening. It's not the way the treatments how is happening and everything. It's actually I was listening to him. I was a little bit concerned if that's for me because at that time I was vegan, and I thought, if I need to eat what he's saying, I need to eat, and the treatments is not the way. When you creating your own bubble and you're creating your own like, oh, that's how fasting needs to be done, and then you're trying just to convince yourself, okay, but if he says like this, why it needs to be like this anyway? So what I done, I thought before I will come to this retreat, I will try to do this myself in Highlands, and after conversation with Dr. Filonov and doing this preparation, 21-day preparation, and everything. After the preparation, I decided to do my 2 long fastings in Scottish Highlands. I rented a cottage in the mountains, and I did myself. The first one didn't go very well. It was really bad. I did 7 days, but it was really bad. It was like, oh my God, I thought, and I did properly, no food, no water, no showers, no nothing. And I thought, okay, that's not so easy to do at home alone. So that's proper dry fasting. And then second one, I did 9 days. And then I remember in day 9, my symptoms was horrible. I was all shaking and everything. I messaged you and I said, can I book the retreat for March? So when I arrived because I couldn't do it myself, and I thought no, and I was also at the same time I was not sure if I'm doing right because the symptoms was so bad, and I was not sure if I'm doing right. And I thought, you know what, this is really serious, and I really need guidance. I really need support. and I need to be supported. It's just not lying alone in bed and thinking what will happen next. So that's how I appeared first time in the retreat.
But still, I'm wondering, how did you decide to come if the person who has been at our retreat was not sharing the positive comments about it, and he was against of the retreat, against of the treatments? It's his unmet expectations. So anyway, why did you decide to come if you were hearing these negative comments?
So first of all, I never listened to 100% everyone. I'm listening to people what they're saying from on experience, but I need to experience on myself, what is right for my body. And because first of all, Dr. Filonov is very experienced with a lot of healing stories, which I heard and which I read in the book. And the other thing as well, when I did his preparation protocol for fasting, and it's really made sense. It's like you're preparing your body properly. You're giving all this what you need to your body before you're not giving anything to your body. And so it's for me, it's not about who said what, but of course, because that person has influenced me a lot with other things in the past. It's kind of I wanted to listen, I wanted to listen, but after two rounds of trying myself dry fast at home, and I knew I'm doing something wrong. And I just knew I'm doing something wrong. And when I came to the retreat, I just knew after 3 days what I was doing wrong at home. So it's my point. If you have a choice to go to retreat or to do at home or to do with someone online, of course go to retreat because first of all, you will 100% doing right. Second, you have all the support, all those treatments. What you're getting there? That's magic. That's how it helps to go through all this nightmare what it was at home for me, which I could just avoid. You know, if I'm supported and doing in the right way.
You already have been at our retreats twice. First time you've been in, if I'm not mistaken, March 2025, right?
Yeah.
And then you've been back-to-back retreats, like 2 retreats in a row in October, November 2025. Now you are coming in March 2026.
Yeah.
So after all this experience, first time you did 7 days, if I'm not mistaken, right? In March 2025, and you were very bad. You were feeling very bad.
Oh, God, there was like I don't know what's happening to me, but yeah, it was really bad.
Because the second time you came, you were already flying, you were already knowing everything.
I knew what to expect already from my
Yeah.
body, from everything else.
And I'm curious, since you've been through all this, what do you think about the refeeding protocol? And what do you think, is your body accept the protocol that we share? Is it feeling better? How do you feel about all this?
Feel about refeeding. I feel my body is while I'm in. It's interesting actually. When I'm at the retreat and I'm getting everything what I'm getting for refeeding, I feel amazing there. I think it's the portion controls because it's very easy if you're at home. It's very easy not to have this portion controls. When you after fasting and especially in day 2 3 you just want everything. What I found with my illness is if I don't watch portion control, this doesn't matter what I eat, I'm getting bloated straight away. So why it's nice in the retreat when we getting all the refeeding program, all this portion control, because there's kind of already prepared and told for you when to stop and what amount of food you want, what hours. It's like what is right for us. In the retreat, I saw a couple times that people was not really following refeeding protocol, but you can see that, to be honest with you, I'm not really can judge on that because, for example, vegans who's in the retreat, for them it's very difficult to understand why they need to eat fish or drink kefir, which is for me, when I came first time to retreat, I was vegan. When I left, I was not vegan anymore. I felt amazing. But I felt amazing, I'm a little bit, I kind of learned in this 5 years, I'm open-minded. and I will take, if it's new teaching, new something, and it's already a doctor with experience telling to me how to support my body, I will take this,
Yeah, it's interesting because vegans and vegetarians are very often vegans and vegetarians first on in their minds. But if you start hearing your body, what your body wants, especially after fasting, it requires proteins. And someone I was hearing like saying, oh, Filonov's protocol, it's vegan, vegetarian, it's for preparation because you need detoxification of your body. But after that, absolutely, animal proteins are very important to reconstruct your body because on dry fasting, you completely destroy all these damaged cells, genetically modified, ill cells, and etc., etc. But on exit, you have to rebuild, and you cannot rebuild your muscles with carrot, for example. Definitely, you need animal proteins. The only thing that we offer the light animal proteins, not to switch attention of the body from the healing to digestion, because it will be still digesting, but not for many hours as it's happening with meat. So with the fish, it's very quick, and the body, it's not switching attention from healing to digestion. This is important to say. So refeeding protocol of Dr. Filonov for you.
For me, it's working for me, working for my body, so working for my mind. So yeah, for me, it's working.
What do you think about the treatment?
Waiting, actually, the first time I was waiting for oh my God, I thought, what they will do with me there. And to be honest with you, a lot of people, even in the retreat, they scared of the preparation for the back massage, the needles and everything. I never felt pain. I don't know. I never. Maybe because when I'm dry fasting, my body don't feel anything, So for me, it's every time I'm going to any treatment there, I just feel I can even longer dry fast. That's how it feels, It's just amazing. You need to have this because this helps.
We have to say that you have a little bit of Slavic influence in your regions.
Yes,
That's why our treatments for you seems natural.
absolutely. It's amazing.
Because you have Slavic influence in your regions, so you are not Westernized.
Yeah.
Because Western people are very delicate, they are very tender, and each bruise on their body, it's already a drama. So you have strong roots and you have strong regions. That's why the treatments actually helps. And of course, if you do something strong and you believe that it helps, it will help. If you believe that it will damage you, it will damage you. You have to truly understand that some healing has to go through pain.
It is. Yeah. No, it's for me. It's helping. For me, everything is helping. That's why I'm coming back. So if it will not help me, I will not come back. The other is very, very important, which I never mentioned. In the retreat is all those people same-minded. You're doing in the group. This is big power. There's a big energy while you're doing with someone online who's coaching you online and saying, "Okay, let's experiment on you a little bit," and you just do this and that. Do you know what I'm saying? So you kind of in the group, you have the same energy, you're sharing the same thing. It's just amazing. As I think it's quite hard to explain, but only thing you just need to be there to experience this because you need to be there.
Absolutely. It's like being on one boat. Sometimes when you are in, everything is in a vortex and you do not understand what's going on. It's just bringing you further. And then when it's finished, it's like you realize that now you have to face the real world, that where you've been through, it was something, it was a bubble. It's a bubble of energy, bubble of healing, bubble of changing of the mindset. Of course, some people have hard times in changing their mindset. We will speak also about this with you. Anyway, I totally agree about necessity. For example, for me as well, I'm also doing regularly long fasts and I can fast myself, but I do not want. I prefer to go to the retreat with Russians when I'm not working, of course, and to do it under the supervision, even though I'm not having any issues. I mean, I know when to stop. I know all the symptoms that can arise. I'm not going to panic. I know how to refeed. even though I go and I stay under supervision, I stay with the treatments. For me, treatments is the total reset, because it's not caressing, it's not tender massages that you can find at any place. That is not, they are not helping, they are not healing, they're just caressing you. Yeah, for me, it's totally different story. And I wanted to ask you, what results did you gain after March retreat? Because yeah, I'm certain you have checked yourself. And what results did you have after back-to-back retreats in November, October, November?
Okay, so the March, when I came back, I didn't do any CT scan. So I did blood test, and my blood test was closer to what I needed to be, because before I came to retreat was 202 CA1 to 5. And when I came after retreat, but I checked after 3 months, like Dr. Filonov told not to check straight away, and there was 76. So it's kind of was very big drop. And this time I went for CT scan, and my blood test and CT scan shows everything the same, nothing changed, but my blood test is went down again. So one of the reasons I think is one of the reasons is I'm still a little bit stuck where I am at the moment, but at the same time, it's not getting anything worse. But at the same time, I haven't managed to minimize as much as I want to minimize everything in my body, of my stressful life. And I think it's one of the things what is still in my life when I need to remove lots of stress, which I still have to work on this a little bit.
What size is your tumor right now, or cysts, or whatever is there present right now?
15 and 13 centimeters.
And is it possible for doctors, for example, to remove only masses without touching the organs?
No one will do that. And I will not do this myself. Because one of the reasons why I will not do that, I for 5 years, I was in contact and followed a lot of girls. One of them was 27, with the same illness like mine, and who went just through surgeries, even no chemos or anything. So I spread the whole body after that, and after that they had chemo and everything, and did not hear anymore. So to be honest with you, since my diagnosis, I know already 9 ladies who lost their lives just with the medical treatments in 5 years. So no, I definitely will not do that, because the first time when I spoke with my oncologist and when I asked him, I said, okay, if I will go through surgery and everything, what you're asking me to do. So I said, how long you think it will last till illness spread until, something else will happen? He said 5 years. And I said, if I will not do nothing, so what will happen then? And he said, oh, then you have 1 year to live. It's over 5 years I did nothing now. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's one of the big reasons I will not touch anything, and I will do naturally as much as possible. And the other thing as well, I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I'm enjoying how I'm living. I know it's something in my body which I still healing, and I still, need to heal. But if I don't know what's happening to me, I think I'm the healthiest person I ever been in my life. Because I feel amazing. I feel, it's just, I'm alive. I don't have any pain. I don't have, I never, for 5 years, never took any painkiller or any tablet or anything anymore. It's just, I'm just living the life what I want to live.
With dry fasting, why I'm asking all this, because with dry fasting, it's difficult to eliminate completely big tumors, for example. And yes, to shrink it, it's possible, but we do not know how many long dry fasts is needed if the tumor is big, for example. That's why if it is possible to remove a tumor without touching organs, with gamma knife, with ablation, with more local approach, it's always recommended from our side, right? Just to make sure that dry fasting afterwards will help not to have recidives, just to get into remission, because to say that you are fully healed, a few years have to pass, not 1 month or half a year or 1 year. You really need to be attentive, because oncological issues regularly, by our experience, are coming back into 3 years regularly. If you do not dry fast, like after having the surgery, if you do not dry fast, where the cause is not eliminated, because tumor is a symptom. It's not the cause, it's the symptom. So eliminating just the symptom, the cause is still there and it will reproduce it. That's why I'm trying to have an idea, if you have in the future in your mind this thought that if you can shrink it up to the moment it's becoming quite small, to be able to completely eliminate it with a local approach, if you have this thought in your mind.
No, what is my plan is I want to do, because realistically, I started dry fasting just last year. So will be my. I did 2 dry fastings at home before I came last year in March, and then 1 dry fasting with you guys, and then 2 dry fasting in October. And now I will be coming in March. I just need to keep doing what I'm doing. I need to refeed my body properly. I need to keep. When I was fruitarian and fully raw vegan, I was always hungry. I was waiting in the nighttime. I'm hungry. I'm going to bed hungry. I was thinking just about food. As nothing existed in my life anymore, you know. So I need to start to find a balance in my life. I need to keep dry fasting, find the balance in my life. And also I need to remind myself that all dry fasting, I just started last year. This is a new journey for me again. So no, I will give myself next 5 years to make other decisions. So I did 5 years already what I thought was right. Now I'm on different paths. So
I would think about abonnement for our retreats with a reduced price.
yeah,
Those who are coming always.
Yeah, I need a membership for retreats.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. So no, this is my just dry fasting, like a real dry fasting journey, just year 2. So and I just need to find a balance and with my diet and work with my stress, my businesses, everything. I just need I need to know what I need to do. I just need to do it.
Yeah, and again, dry fasting is exhausting their inner resources. We don't want people to have depletion. That's why we're always speaking about necessity of the proteins on exit, especially. So I'm happy, even though I've been vegetarian for 7 years, I've been very vegetarian, like very vegetarian. No one could convince me about changing until my body collapsed. And I started to listen to my body and to follow the requests, because body is speaking with you. If you are clean inside, you're in contact with yourself and you stop your mind and follow your body. Of course, we're not speaking about intuitive eating when you intuitively want McDonald's stuff. We're speaking about real intuitive eating, and about hunger. Whenever you eat proteins, it helps you to eliminate the hunger, this feeling of hunger.
So my husband is quite happy now, because after being last year in your retreat, we started to get fish at home. He's very happy, because before there was plant-based only. He was even vegan for the first couple of years with me, just to support me. But at home, I'm very high in plant-based, very high in plant-based. So it's fruits, vegetables, everything fresh is like a main food for my body. And then, fishes comes.
Regarding the online coach that you had, I know him very well, and I know, because I was in touch also, and I know that he also started with some fish. So he's not fully raw vegetarian or vegan as it was announced previously. He also is changing regarding what his body is requesting. So this is the thing, that people change.
That's how it needs to be. That's how it needs to be.
Yeah, just to understand that, yeah, different phases of life are very important, because also I'm not regretting. It was a huge change in my life, even for you. Detoxification, raw diet. I'm not agree with juicing, but whatever. It's important that your pancreas did not collapse completely, because with juicing you ruin your pancreas. Anyway, it's good, and it's good that you stopped with this. Anyway, all the phases of life of these different types of detoxification definitely help, because they clean the body from all the junk food that all of us, from time to time, we're having, and also from their shots, all this cleansing process really helped you a lot. And you were actually prepared for dry fasting, because jumping into dry fasting from nothing, from never experienced the detoxification, it's super hard.
Absolutely. Well, what is nice in those 5 years, what I learned as well, it's like you said, and the life is about balance. It doesn't matter what illness you have, doesn't matter, I have this kind of illness, someone else has something else, something else. We all have something. And giving this detox, is giving rest for our body with all juices or salads, just fruits and everything is amazing. But at the end, you need to fill your body with the fuel, is it? You just need to give something more, just not to feel hunger, just to give the balance, just to feel yourself calm as well, is it? If your body calm, your mind is calm.
Your mood and your mind really depends on how your gut is feeling.
Exactly.
There are different alternative proposal in the internet, what people are thinking is helping them with oncological problems. And have you heard about mebendazole, about chloride dioxide solution? Do you know all this oncological healing solution that was promoted in some alternative medicine cycles? So you were not looking into, there are theories that different parasites influence different types of oncological issues. You haven't looked into these theories,
No,
right?
no. Nothing what is natural. No, I'm never looked at any.
People try different things, and we hear our patients that are coming after all these treatments, alternative treatments, someone is believing they have the results. Someone, after a year of taking all these, having the worsen of the oncological situation. So we have different types, but mostly it's also important to understand that whatever you believe is helping you. It's like placebo effect can be as well. But there are a lot of theories. I cannot say, are they right? They are not right, because in this critical situation, it's life and death. You cannot say to a person, take it or not take it. It has to decide it itself. But there are different alternatives, and I was curious if you were thinking of taking it. So you have never taken it. Perfect. Sometimes also I'm hearing, it's not sometimes, I heard that missing link of Dr. Filonov's method, and people are starting to list, and they started to list unnatural substances, synthetic supplements, chemical hormones, even though they say it's bio, like natural, like on different products, you read bio, then you turn and ingredients are not bio at all. So some people are saying that missing link are synthetic products. And I'm actually very surprised to hear that, because we are not against synthetic products in case of emergency, like all these medications, all these supplements, vitamins, in case of really emergency, when natural healing cannot help immediately, because natural healing always takes time. It's a long process. And sometimes in emergency case, you need to take something. But it's not natural, and it's not about natural journey of healing. You cannot heal with synthetic substances. You can help yourself, like in a certain case, but it's not about healing process. And I'm wondering, do you think people do not understand the internal processes of dry fasting, because it has to activate your inner resources. If you give to the body something from outside, it will never activate those kind of hormones, those kind of producing its own vitamins for the body, because you already give synthetic ones. So the body is silencing. Do people really do not understand the natural process of the dry fasting, or they maybe are paid or like to discredit? Because it's discredit. It's not only about people's health, but it's also about discrediting dry fasting.
Yeah, I think it's a lot about self-education as well, you know, because like I said before, so many information now online, and you know, people don't know what to do anymore. That's why they're trying to create more ideas what to add and improvise themselves to everything, you know. And in my opinion is if you eat balanced diet, if you have enough greens like fruits, vegetables, and everything else what you need, you're really getting this from your food instead of buying those supplements, is it? Instead of the giving money to someone who created that one tablet, and you think you will take that one tablet and will sort out whatever it needs to sort out. Correct, is it?
So it's not your case. You are never taking supplements. You're never taking anything additionally.
I did took supplements, a lot of supplements. I was laughing when I was diagnosed and I was doing Gerson's protocol, because that's the supplements as well. I was laughing that I was taking more supplements than food, because it was just by hour everything. But then when I started work with my coach for fasting and went very high on fruits and vegetables, more fruits actually than vegetables, I stopped all supplements.
It was already a good process, yeah. You mentioned diet, you mentioned stress management, you mentioned lifestyle. And do you think it's also influencing all this lifestyle that is around your health? Do you think it's influencing oncological conditions?
Absolutely. 100%.
And do you think the mindset, habits also influence that?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we're creating ourselves.
Yeah, we create ourselves. You're right. Have you changed something in your life within these years?
Mostly everything. Mostly absolutely everything. I changed my life, I will say, first year since diagnosis. First year, there was 99% all my life changed. And then when I felt better, I started to go slowly to my old habits. And, you know, I'm not saying that I went back 100% what I was before diagnosis, but more I started to bring my old life in, more symptoms I started to get back from the illness. And that's when everything stopped. My healing stopped. And I was not, like I said, never went worse, but didn't feel like I'm going forward. It's like stuck. And like I said, even now, I know what I need to finish in my life to move forward.
Thank you for telling that. It's very important because people really do not realize they expect magic pill even from the long fast. But if you come back home and you do not change habits, you do not change your mindset, it's difficult. I understand. I totally know. I'm on this journey as well. But at least you have to start changing your thoughts. You have to start changing your habits. Because where you right now before your long fast, it's because of everything you are. It's not because of external forces. And if you, after long fast, you do not change even the sleep regulation is very important, because the stress, these cortisol hormones will be super high, and you will never, for example, lose weight if you do not regulate the sleep in your life. For example, it's very simple suggestion: regulate your sleep, and you will see the difference.
So yeah, talking about the habits and life changing and everything. So yeah, the one thing what I did since diagnosis, I was changing everything, absolutely everything, included the friends. Since my diagnosis, a lot of my friendships was gone, which was not right people in my life gone. Business what was not right in my life gone, because before my diagnosis I was leading absolutely crazy life. I was running one most stressful business in my life, like in Scottish Highlands, like I said, and the other one I created in Edinburgh, and at the same time running two businesses during the summertime, and in the winter time doing my masters in London. I didn't know how to stop. And when I stopped, I just realized that I'm not healthy. My body is not coping anymore. So I need to do something about. So it's one thing I will say in the life. It doesn't matter what's happening. We really need to stop and to take time for ourselves and just to understand what is good for us, what is good for our body, what is good for our life, for our mind. And it's not just about fasting and foods, to be honest with you. Everything else, what we're surrounding ourselves, you know, what kind of people around us. That's one of the things, like I said, I like coming to dry fasting because everyone is one, it's like the one-minded people, they speaking the same language, even we from different countries, but we understand what we're talking about. If I will go to one of my group of friends who was 5 years ago and will say I'm dry fasting, they will look at me like I'm from the moon or something. It's like you don't belong around.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I'm also in my bubble with my friends, also my family, my parents were coming to the retreat. So we are all together in one bubble. Also the patients, all this community. And for me, I had an idea at one point that as if world is changing, because everything around me was different already. Then recently in last months, I had opportunity to see different communities. And I can say that the world is worse than it was before.
Yeah.
I was feeling myself alien. I wanted, since we are not only speaking with each other, I also speak through you to people who are watching us. I really want to underline this topic because it seems that people hear, no, they listen but not hear.
Mhm.
And as an example, like even recently, I was receiving messages from the patients that have been in our autumn retreats, telling me that on refeed, while they were following our suggestions, they were feeling good. Then after that, problems started to come back, and they were surprised. And I started to ask, what have you inserted in your life? Like, be attentive of what products, what habits. And it was about alcohol, it was about junk food, it was about some foods that actually we cannot promise that after long fast, the whole life, you can go on with the same type of life you had before. We do not promise that. If you do not change, for example, another example, and I really wanted to share that one patient did not get the results after doing 2 long fasts. And when I asked, what have you done to have new results? Very clear, simple question. He has said, everything. I have done everything. And I asked, what do you mean by everything? Because people say things, but terminology, differs from understanding, from my understanding, and from his understanding. He said, I did 2 long fasts. I said, this is everything? Like, did you change your diet? Did you change sleeping patterns? Did you change your physical activity? Because if you do not have physical activity, if you do not regulate your habits, regulate, as you said, also toxic people around, many things have to be regulated, many things. And saying that you have done everything just because you have done 1 or 2 retreats and then nothing else was changed in your life, you cannot say that you have done everything. You have done nothing. And then the worst part of all this, that dry fasting resets your body. It's newly born baby start having same habits. So you worsen the situation.
Yeah.
I want really people to hear, not only to listen, but hear. You, like, if you want new results, you need to do new actions. You cannot live the same life if you want the new results. Even if you say that you did everything, it's because you came to the retreat. No, it's just the starting point. You gave yourself possibility to reset, and then everything else depends on you. Doesn't depend on synthetical products as a missing link. Missing link, it's a lifestyle change completely. I just wanted to share because it seems that this message, it's not clear. We are not promising miracles. Dry fasting is not a miracle pill. It's a starting point.
It is, because I think I'm lucky. I'm lucky because I started all the detox before dry fasting myself, and it was, I think, it's the hardest for me, the hardest time in my life to learn everything myself, because I was rejected by 2 hospitals, like alternative healing hospitals, and I needed to do everything myself. But I think I was lucky in that point because I had a chance to learn myself in the hard way, you know. And when I was coming to dry fast retreat, already for me was, I know it's different. I know what I never done before, but I knew already that, you know, I will get the guidance, but when I will go back home, I know already what to do. I think it's a lot of people who is coming to retreats, especially dry fasting retreat, and they never done anything at home, even simple we'll say water fast or simple juice fast, or even just simple they just eating, you know, just raw foods for a day or something. Do you think they will come to retreat, they will fix the problem, they will go home, and they will have everything, you know, and the life is fine because they don't know what to do next? I think that's what this is in my experience. Before the diagnosis, before the COVID, when I used to go to raw food retreat or juicing retreat, and I was coming back to my busy life, and I was feeling all right for a week or two, and then I was going back to where I was before because I didn't know what to do next. I was kind of like from beautiful bubble where they made me feel better in a week or 5 days. I went back to my busy life, which I felt, you know, for 1-2 weeks okay, and then I was going down again. And this one retreat was fun in Portugal. I was for a juicing retreat, and what they said, they very right what they said. They said, "Oh well, you all back here paying money to make you better for 5 days or 6 days, and then you will go home and you fall again to your busy lives, and you will come again, pay money here, just that we can give you these juices and walks in the forest, you know." And you know, those people was right. But at that time, I never understood what he's saying. This important thing is when you go home after any retreat, because you do very, very, very deep work with yourself in the retreat, especially in dry fasting retreat, with all this, not just fasting, but with all information we're getting there. It's also with all treatments we're getting there. When we go home, we need to keep doing our homework because no one else will do it for us. It's for us, keep going step by step. If it failed, we need to get up and do it again. You know, you fail, you get up, do it again. And I think it's just learning. Someone is new.
I heard also one time one lady said, you need to follow up for free the patients until they are healed. And it's a lifelong coaching. It's not about just that dry fasting will heal you if you do not change anything. It's mindset coaching, and the mind is always protect us from changes. It's always protect us from new, even though the new can bring happiness, health, and so on. Mind is protecting because it's an unknown field for him. So mind will be always bringing you back to the known, even if known it's not making you happy. So listening that we owe something because we offer dry fasting retreat, it's really, for me, it's a ridiculous, because it's lifelong coaching. I myself educate constantly, having different trainings, different retreats, different coaching on different levels. It's about mind, about health, about diet, about different things you need to implement in your life, a lot of in your spheres, a lot of new things just to start a real change.
Yes, that's one is very important thing as well. I was talking about retreat, like in dry fasting retreat, we've been told to walk a lot, move a lot. That's so important. Doesn't matter you're fasting or not fasting, you need to move. And one of the things before I did really bad is many times, because I did 21-day water fasting, I did 30-day water fasting, and I was told not to move. I was every time in bed, every time in bed. And after 30 days fasting, I had even zero results. Yes, I felt amazing when I started refeeding, but I had zero results, absolutely zero results in my health, even with my blood and everything. And I was thinking, why? There was no movement. There was no movement. Of course it's wrong, you know? You're lying 30 days in bed, drinking water every hour, and what do you think will happen? You know? So now I understand, but I needed to go through all those experiences to understand.
Yeah, there are some coaches that are telling that you have to save the energy, but actually they are not aware of the concept that actually, of course, you may be feeling very bad and it's different. But if you can move, you have to move, because this will be generating the energy and creating new mitochondria. And also it's helping detoxification process, because with the movement, you help eliminate your toxins as well. And it's also very good massage of your internal organs, of your spine, of your vertebrae. And when I hear that you save your energy by laying, yes, I also was feeling sometimes very bad and I couldn't move. Couldn't move, it's another point of view. Like you just couldn't, you cannot move. If you cannot move, you cannot move. But if you can, do it. I totally agree with you. You have more results if you walk.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And also when I this 121-day water fasting retreat first time I did in Costa Rica, and they told us not to move as well, like very slowly to move, not a lot to move. They told us to drink 6 liters of water a day, 6 liters. And it was too much for me. It was, for my body, was too much. And we were forced to, of course, but like I said, I'm open-minded. There was his retreat. I did what he told me to do. And also we was not allowed to do the enemas, which was, in my understanding, was very wrong, because 21 day I was, not elimination. So where is the toxins going? There was everything wrong. But it was good experience for me, because after the 21-day water fasting, I was not scared to do any fasting anymore because there was, at home.
Actually, I'm very happy you came to us after you have done all this experience, because after all this experience, having the information that we give, it made everything very clear, everything at the right place. It falls apart.
Absolutely, yeah. And I will say, if anyone will, like I'm hearing now every second day, to be honest with you, oh, someone had the same illness like you, or someone had the same, some oncology problems and stuff like that. It's like it's like every second person these days. But then you're thinking, if someone will ask me, it's like what to do, I will just stop eating, sit down, stop eating, sit down, meditate and think, what is your body needs, instead of like panicking and running and, it's just running to, I don't know, it's everyone's choice what to do. But I think as when you go to oncologists, and if you don't have very strong support like family or friends, is in very wrong way, they pushing you too fast to make the decision, just too fast. You have no time because they're scaring you there, Every time I went to my oncologist in Edinburgh, every time I went out all shaking. Every time. And no matter how I prepared my mind, when I go there, he will not stress me. But when you go there, he sits like a god and he looks at you like he knows everything. And if I'm saying something, you look at me like I'm silly. I don't understand what I'm talking about. It's like, but that was funny this time when he said, after this dry fasting, I went for CT scan and everything. And then he said, nothing changed. Still no metastasis. But of course, he thinks metastasis is hiding somewhere, and the blood levels very good. And he said, but you haven't done any treatments. And I said, no, I didn't. But can you share what you did? And of course, I thought I will not start talking about dry fasting, because this is just him. I know him for 5 years. I said, I'm just a couple times a year water fasting. Water fasting. So you don't eat food? I said, no, that's what called water fasting. How many days? I said, I did 21 day, 30 day, no food, no water. Is this person can survive? Is he oncologist? Can you believe that? He even cannot understand that drinking water for 21 days, person can survive. You know, I thought just even no point with him speaking about dry fasting. You know, I will not start there. But yeah, every time I just go there, I just don't feel okay. Just the way how it's treating me.
Yeah, we receive always these emergency calls from people scared by doctors because they think that tomorrow they will die after they are going to the doctor studio. Yeah, and actually, unfortunately, the doctors, the majority of the Western medicine doctors are not taught how the body is functioning. They are taught the protocols and they follow, actually, they are intelligently follow the protocols that they are taught, but they do not recognize by the symptoms, even by the face, for example, where the person can have problems, by the body where the person can. So they are not taught how body is working. It's a pity, but it's how it is. Anyway.
Absolutely, yeah.
I wanted to ask you also, I understand that if it's not working anymore, like the word if it's not working, what you consider your main mistake, let's say? What would you change not to arrive to have oncological issue?
Stress.
Stress.
First thing is it's not about food, it's not about anything, it's stress. It's the first thing is in my case, in my life, stress.
And you know, a lot of people also are concerned about long fast in general, about losing weight. Of course, everyone is concerned about that. They think that they have to gain weight before coming to the retreat. When we are saying no, on the contrary, you have to detoxify yourself. Otherwise, it will be hard for you to go through long fast. You will be having nausea, vomiting, all these headaches. So you have, on the contrary, to lose the weight by detoxification. It's not the purpose to lose the weight, but you are losing the weight. Anyway, do you remember your weight before back-to-back retreats, and how and if you measured yourself after 2 retreats in a row?
Since I started all this long process of the detox and fastings and everything is, if in kilograms, I will say. So before fasting, I always about 58, 59 kilograms. And then during the fasting, I'm losing for about, it depends how many days, but I think the maximum I reached in Montenegro retreats, there was, I think, is 49 kilograms. But then I'm just gaining very quick. In about 5 days, I'm back to 54, 55 kilograms, very, very quick. The biggest weight I lost my first year when I was doing all the long detox and when I was dry fasting, but it was not dry fasting with my coach first time, I was 41 kilogram. But because I was only on fruits, like fruit fasting, and then it's no, you know, there was just no balance. I think it was just no balance for my body. But then I was 41 kilogram, and then it took me about a month to reach to about 53. But because again, I was just on fruits. I was eating just fruits. I was not eating anything else. So, but
Yeah.
for me, in my case, I'm not. It's no problem with the weight, actually. I think I'm quite happy when I'm losing a little bit more weight. So for me, it's very, very easy to gain the weight. Very easy to gain, especially with refeeding what you're providing there. For me, I even need to watch, how many those nice fish soups I will eat or how many those eggs I will eat because I'm gaining too fast weight.
For me, it's the same. I never had a problem actually of gaining weight. Like,
I don't have.
from the moment you start drinking, 5-6 kilos are back again with no
Absolutely.
problem.
Yeah.
So back-to-back retreats also were not the problems for you.
No, weight is not a problem, but one is the thing as well. I think it's in my mind. If I'm losing weight for healing, to be honest with you, even if I'm 40 kilograms to need to be for my healing till I reach what I need to reach, it's fine. Because this is in my mind. Because I'm doing this for healing. I'm not doing this for fashion or for beauty or for something. I'm doing this for healing.
We have a joke. Until you have bones and skin, you're fat enough.
That's true. Yeah.
Because you have a lot of fat around the organs as well. And this is stagnant fat with old memory, because fat is water, water is containing memory. So, you have, it's good also to eliminate, erase the stagnant bad energy, because it's about also energy. And when you start refeeding yourself, you recreate a new one. That's why refeeding is very important.
Very important. I think it's the biggest healing is happens when you're refeeding as well, because when you're fasting, yeah, you're cleaning up everything. You're cleaning your body, you're cleaning all the toxins and everything. But then it's, a lot of people, that's why they're saying they cannot see the results when they're back home, because, if they following this all refeeding routine for 1 or 2 weeks, or even 1 or 2 months, and then after 2 3 months they're doing what they're doing, then of course you will not see the results. Of course the symptoms will come back. I know myself, and it's my symptoms coming back. I know what I'm doing wrong, what I'm touching, or what little bit getting bigger stress, what I'm not supposed to get. And I know when it's my symptoms slowly coming back, because I know what I'm doing not right to myself. So it's up to us to control everything, is it?
Thank you for sharing this, because this is so important, because you have also a little bit of our Slavic critical mind for ourselves, because we criticize ourselves as much that no one else needed.
But to be honest with you, it's ours who create ourselves who's creating all the situations. It's no one. It's very, especially if people were saying, "Oh, Joe, I just did that, and like I did everything, like said before, and it's nothing happened." Those people already don't know what to blame, but they need to blame someone, because like my mom always saying, and she's always right. If I'm a little bit complaining about something, and she always says, Iride, what did you do wrong to yourself today? If you're complaining already and blaming everything, what did you do wrong? Did you stress yourself? Did you eat wrong foods, or what did you do to yourself? And just if you're doing something bad to ourselves, we always need to find someone's fault. It's
So you had a great education from your mom, by what I'm hearing.
absolutely, yeah, yeah, yes, yeah. She's first person who was really against I will go to surgery, and she said to me, if you'll go to surgery, then if you will be awake, I will be not here anymore. You really can't do this, because I know you will not survive the surgery. I know you will not survive all medical treatments. I know, I know, I know, I know.
Your mom will be watching us.
Yeah, she will be. Yeah,
She understands English.
yeah, yeah, yeah. She lives in Scotland.
Okay. Thank you for your daughter. Great education.
Yeah.
Slavic style. Strong one. So I had to say this. Because really people need guarantees, but only your lifestyle is a guarantee.
And work with yourself. We need to work with ourselves every day. Every day. It's hard work. Yes, it's hard work. But like I said before, I was really, if I failed, like, oh my God, I failed. I didn't do this and that. With myself, I mean. And now, if I fail, I just need to get up and do it again and again and again and again, till I will get right. It's training, is it? Our mind training, our body training. Like you said about the fasting as well, it's a training. We're training our bodies, is it? It's like I do now once a week, 24-hour, 48-hour dry fasting. It's training. My husband saying, "What are you doing? You're going for fasting very soon anyway." It's a training. If I will do this now, it will be easier for me later. And plus, I'm enjoying already. It's my routine. It's routine. And like I said before, this is my proper dry fasting is just year two now starting. Year two, is it? So I still have a long way to go, long way to learn, and just to train myself.
I love this spirit. I really love it. And the most, what you said that I loved very much, it's about mistake happen.
Every
Um,
time.
Withdrawals happen.
Yeah.
Like you can eat junk food sometimes, but at least you have to be aware that you can step into again this healing journey. You can always bring yourself on the right patterns, but life is happening. No one is perfect. Like someone is saying, oh, I cannot do the preparation. I'm always answering. Perfection doesn't exist. Do what you can right now. And then you will learn step by step, because we are not expecting the perfection. You can be mistaken today, tomorrow, again and again, but at least you have to be aware why it's happening. And this is why it's happening is the most important thing. Because then when you realize, when you not just blame, it didn't help or whatever. If it helped to someone else, ask why it helped to someone else, why it's not helping to you, you know? So ask yourself a lot of questions first. So this approach that you are aware and you try to change, this is very, very important topic that can be endless, like philosophical, psychological, it can be endless, really. And coming back to philosophical question, do you think illness comes for a reason, not about cause, but reason?
Absolutely. Absolutely. When I got diagnosed, one of my yogi friends from Ibiza, when I said to her a diagnosed, she said, "Congratulations." And I felt, oh my God. She said, "Congratulations. You just have a new lesson to learn." I said, that's very weird. I don't know if that's to be happy or to speak to you or not to speak. But now, like 5 years on, I understand that what you were saying is actually, I just got a chance to create the life what I always wanted. The life what I always knew what I wanted, but I always was taking wrong path. And the illness stopped me and told me to take the path what I need to take. So yeah, I will not say that to get that kind of illness is you very, very lucky. I'm just talking about myself. I was lucky. I was lucky because the life put me on the right path. That's in my case.
Yeah, it's like first symptoms are always like yellow lights, you know, uh-oh, be attentive. But if you always take the wrong path, yeah, things can happen.
Also, I'm thinking as well, and I always speaking with my mom about this, and she's agrees about that. I still have the illness and still haven't reversed 100% because I haven't learned all my lessons 100%. Until I will not learn everything, I will continue that journey till I will learn everything what I can be, illness free. I know the things what I'm doing wrong. I know. I just know. And when you know what you're doing wrong, but you're still doing, there's,
Sequences are obvious.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
It's very deep. It's very deep. And if you could implement one rule for life that everyone must follow, what would it be?
To live as simple as possible.
Mm-hmm.
To make less goals in the life, because my past life was everything about goals. Even every year, new resolutions. I had the goals like this in my diary. Goals, goals. So create simple life as possible. Enjoy every day and every moment is possible. Just since my diagnosis, I'm getting up in the morning and I'm walking my dog with the sunrise, and I'm so happy. I want to cry from happiness. It never was like this before in my life. Never. This is just for the last 5 years I'm living like this. So it's just simple life as possible. Enjoy every moment as possible, and yeah, just take care of yourself. I think it's taking care of yourself. That's how you enjoying the life. That's how you're showing to gratitude to yourself.
Recently, like a few days ago, I've heard a very nice thing that I want also to share now that you were speaking about crying from happiness, even though you have issues, but your appreciation, your soul is enjoying what's happening around you. There was an expression, kind of story. A woman met a man that was on the train station. And she said, "Oh, you have to wait for the train." And he answered, I decided to change my perspective of viewing the things. And I no longer say I have to wait for the train. I say I have the opportunity to wait for the train. I have the opportunity to wake up in the morning. I have the opportunity to see the sun, to see the sea. I have the opportunity to have these children around me, because at one point we all will not have any more any of these opportunities. So if you even change the perspective from I have to I have the opportunity, it will already change a lot inside of you and will give you a lot of feelings of gratitude, that starting with gratitude, you start to heal yourself.
Yeah, I do agree. That's 100%. Yeah.
It came into my mind, and I'm happy it happened in this context. It might be useful for someone, I hope. If you could eliminate one bad habit.
Stress.
Again.
My life is everything what's happened to me is everything about stress. So if one thing, most important thing to eliminate from my life is stress.
I agree. How is your sleep?
I'm sleeping very well, apart when I'm dry fasting. Like I'm saying now, I'm sleeping so long. Maybe I'm just taking this all sleep just before the dry fasting is coming.
The sleep is very important to recover the nervous system.
Yeah. 9 o'clock, I'm in bed and I'm getting the sunrise because my dog is getting up early, it's my alarm, and I'm sleeping like a baby all night. So I don't have problems. I don't have issues with sleep at all.
Great, because the time for recovery of the nervous system is usually from 9 or 10 p.m. up to 1, 2 in the morning. If you do not sleep in this frame of time, your nervous system will be constantly in alert state. And if someone wants to lose weight, this is very important topic. The first one, if you will not sleep in this frame, your cortisol level will be constantly high, and don't even think to lose the weight, going to the gym, having the diet. First sleep and then everything else. Yeah. Great that you're sleeping. And finally, at least for me, then we will see. What advice would you give to someone who is considering dry fasting for the first time?
To be open-minded, to do properly preparation, and to follow all the rules when you're dry fasting and refeeding. And not to be scared. That's one thing, not to be scared. But I think if someone is already considering dry fasting, is not scared already. And not to try to improvise, just follow the rules.
Yeah, actually, some people who start thinking about dry fasting, even sometimes in a roll to the retreat, it happened to sabotage. You know, it happened that the fear it's big one, and you start to find why you cannot come instead of why you should come. So why you cannot come become the priority at one point. So people, yes, they want kind of to heal, they want, but then the life becoming the priority of others, you know, because it's not about you, become the priority. And I call it sabotaging, actually.
But I'm guessing those people who did that did not really did the preparation. I think if you following preparation properly, like those 3 weeks, then you're getting lighter and lighter and you want the dry fasting already, you know, if you're following right. But I think it's people who finding excuses not to do this, I don't think they did proper preparation for dry fasting.
Yeah, most probably you're right. Exactly. It's what I'm suggesting always. It's take one step at a time and focus your attention of doing as good as possible the every step.
Yeah.
It's not the perfection, but as good as possible each step. And like this, by the end, you will have the puzzle of what you have done. Do not think much ahead, because if you haven't done it, never. Of course, 9 days, 7 days of dry fast seems just impossible, just like going to the moon, even more. But focusing attention of the first step, then second step, just day by day. And the 21-day program that we have online, it's just day by day. Focus your attention on daily tasks that are clearly exposed. And then you will see the result by the end of it, definitely.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you think we did not cover some of the questions that might be interesting for others regarding your oncological issue?
I'm not sure. I think I just want to add again, which I will repeat myself, that if you're diagnosed, you need to be calm. That's very important. Just to be calm and take time. You know, sometimes they're saying, oh, you need to do very quick decision, because you know what? You waited for so many years. What will take 1, 2, 3 weeks or even 1 month or 2 months just to be with yourself, just to try slow down, just switch off yourself and to make right decision for yourself instead of jumping what they're telling you to do. And again, also, I'm not against, I'm not saying that all the medical suggestions is bad. As I know a lot of people who healed just doing the surgery and following fasting and changing lifestyle. That's amazing as well. And I know those people, and they live like a normal, happy life, and it's working. But it's my only thing is, do not be rush with the decisions. Just take time, you need to take time. You need to give yourself time. Just that's a big life change, if you're going for a surgery, what they suggested to me, this is like would be changing all my life, of course I needed the time to decide. And what I'm thinking now, I made the best decision ever for my life. So yeah, it's one thing is take time for everything. Take time. I can think 100 times before you do something when it comes to your body.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion from a person who went through a lot of things. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your story. And really, I am very happy to see you very soon.
Just waiting for my next dry fasting, and yeah, let's see next results.
Thank you to everyone for having watched up to here. And maybe see you one day. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.